Good evening. It's 76 degrees here and I turned the air on. And I know the rest of you are maybe in a little colder weather right now, but it's back to early fall here. All is going well. I want to share something with you guys. I was looking on Amazon today for those little Zentangle starter kits that you used to be able to get on Amazon for like 16 bucks. Well, they've gone up to 22 or 23 bucks now, like a huge leap. You can get them for the cheaper price at Blick Art Supply, or at Michael's if you order online, because you can buy one, get an extra one for half price. If you buy them at Blick online, you still have to pay shipping unless you order a bunch of other stuff and get free shipping. So I don't know, you just might have to suck it up or cut your own paper and just gather your pins together. One of the things about that little kit is it has a bunch of pins in it which you might or might not really need. So you end up paying for stuff that I don't think is totally necessary. Anyway, that's a little bit about supplies. But another thing about it, let's go here to our document camera. And you can see here, whoa, all right. These two little pads, and you could get those for not a whole lot of money. At Blick, you can $3 or $4 a pad, and it probably at your local supply store, art supply stores, you can get them for $4 or $5. But there are 15 sheets, and this is tone tan mixed media. And if you're making bookmarks, this is 6 inches by 8 inches. So you open this up and you slice it in half, and then each of those pieces in half, and you have 4 bookmarks out of one sheet. So that winds up being what? 60 bookmarks of paper that's very similar to the official tangling paper that Zentangle puts out. It's a slightly different color, but not a whole lot. And this is the white mixed media, same deal. It's Strathmore 400 series. I think this is also the paper. If you buy those Strathmore 4x4 inch tiles, this is the same paper, but you can cut 60 bookmarks out of it. Also, if you want before long to start tangling in a larger format, this is an easy way to get larger format paper. Let me take you back here. I was working on this. I've worked on it some more. I've played with the frame some more, and I've added some more things, some more layers. And a lot of what we often think of as Zentangle type art involves these layers of patterns. And I thought I really need to walk y'all through how to do that. I'm still working at it. I grab it when I just need to calm down and, enjoy the peace and quiet. I picked out some of the things that you all said were your favorite tangles. And so that's, let's see here. Can do this. So here we've got poke leaf. Here we've got zinger, or the one that's very close to it. This is one I really like called Vertigo. And this is poke root, but it's done a little bit differently. It really is poke root, but then you kind of put these lines on it, and instead of a straight stem, you use a curved stem. So there's poke root. This is a leaf with doodah on it. We've done that. And this is actually the little ladybug like we see when we do crescent moon, only we do our printemps this way. And it's kind of interesting, I think. So with that said, and these are some other ones that they taught us. This is a new tangle they taught. This just come out, and they taught us that one at Zen again, and we'll get to that down the road a bit. But what I've picked out for you today is here. Picked out, well, I drew it. I kind of wanted to incorporate tangles that you all were interested in. And it's not quite Christmas, but with the colors, you can make it Christmassy. Anyway, the tangles we're going to work on here, this is Crescent Moon, you know, your first Zentangle class, Crescent Moon. We've just separated it a little bit and put little lines, and that becomes then our border. This may be a new one here where we've got a circle in the middle and we have lines that go out, take off and land, take off and land, 6 of those lines around. It's a tangle called Spoken, but really it's a modified Huggins where you just head out off of that circle and then go out. It's just like the stroke that you use for Huggins. And here you see poke leaf. This is Muka, and I've added a fragment in here. This is also Muka. Muka is done several ways. This with the big bulb on the end, and this one without the bulb on the end. This is Zinger. And I can't remember what the 3 dots are, but that is the therefore symbol in math. And this, oh, is a gem. So we've incorporated a lot of things that we've done before, but maybe with a slight twist. And depending on what colors you choose to do them in, I did these, I started out Renaissance, and then I added some other colors because I don't know, I just felt like it needed other colors. And that's what we do. I'm sure we won't get through all of this today because I've worked on it way more time than we are going to have together tonight, but I can get you started and you can finish it later, and maybe you can come up with even more exciting colors. The one that I followed was on a website, I can't even remember which one, but all of these were gems. So Dawn, if you really just want to go gem crazy, you could have 7 gems instead of just one. Or you can, 7 different colors, one in the middle and 6 more all around. So with that, any questions or observations? No? Okay. Francis, welcome. I didn't speak to you when you came in, but welcome. Okay, let's grab a tile, either a Zendala tile or just a piece of paper with a circle drawn in it. I better straighten this up so you don't get seasick looking at it. There we go. All right. Since I'm going to be teaching an introductory class, I was reminded that this is what I really teach. I really teach the Zentangle method. And so I want to be more conscious of going through all the steps of the method. So we will begin with gratitude. And because we don't have a square, we're not going to put our dots in the corners, but I will ask you to put dots somewhere near the top and the bottom. And then again, about a third of each, about a third of the way around. They don't need to be perfect, just somewhere close to that. Just kind of go a third, another third, and put your dots like that. Then what I did was to put a very thin border all around the tile, just like, an 1/8 of an inch or even less. And then our string will be a circle. And let's not put that circle right in the center. Let's put it a little bit off center. And that way, and that's our string. That way it's off center enough that we clearly intended for it to be that way. So our first tangle is going to be spoken, S-P-O-K-E-N, like spokes on a bicycle. And if you draw this one with straight lines, it looks more like spokes on a bicycle, but we're not going to do it that way. We're going to draw it with curvy lines. So let's move to our O1. I'm using the black. And I'm going to go ahead and outline.
If we're on tan, do we use the brown?
You can. I'm on tan. I'm using the black, but you can use the brown. If you're on, you can use any color you want on these.
Yours is white. I just wasn't sure.
You're using white?
No, your tile looks white.
Well, I know it does, but that's white.
Okay, gotcha.
So, yeah, and maybe the background is, I don't know. Let me pull this blue paper. Does that look tanner or not? I don't know. The blue is kind of bright. So let's go ahead and outline this circle, this orb, making slight corrections if we feel like it. Okay. All right, now, in the spirit of Huggins, taking off and landing. So this is where we're aiming. We're aiming at one of those dots. And let's take off from the orb and go ahead and draw a nice curvy line. As curvy as you like. There you go. And then we can turn our tile. We're headed to this dot and we take off and land. This is the new paper that Zentangle HQ has chosen to use for its tan tiles. It's slightly lighter and it's a bit harder than the Fabriano Tipolo, which is the white paper that we use. Consequently, the line from the O1 is even thinner and finer than it would show up on the white. So I don't know, you may want to think about using a little bit bigger pen sometime, but for now, this is going to work just fine. Anyway, I'm going to the next one. And so on around the circle. Sort of looks like an aperture. Now, let's go around and aura these. So we're going to be auraing above that line, which is hard, I guess. I don't know. We can aura below it. That's really easier, and there's no reason why we can't do it that way. Let's just do that. So below that line, again, we're using our feel for that stroke like we did so far. And then when we're auraing, we'll just go, you know, 1/8 of an inch or less like that. Aura that. Okay. I think the next thing we're going to do is go ahead and put the border on, because we'll be judging how we draw these with the border already in place, and we can tell, I mean, we won't get too close and so forth while we're trying to do that. So let's go ahead and trace along this line. It's very close to the edge. Take your time. All right. Okay, now we're back in our beginning class and we're going to line up our little ladybugs all around the edges and color them in, not too close together. I like line them up and leave a space. When you get to the end, just kind of even it out. It'll be fine. And then we go back and color them in if you aren't doing it along the way. Okay. Now you can go in and aura each one of these. It's just the way I did it was to aura each one. And then we can aura it again. And if your auras run into each other, that's just fine. Because what I was going for here was using our old friends in new ways, our old friend Tangles. And I don't remember using Crescent Moon as a border, even though it makes a great border. Okay. All right. Looks like some of you are still working, but some of you are about done. Now, the next thing we can do is go in, and I just put 3 little lines to kind of connect them around the bend there. And kind of establishes the space, evens it out. Okay. Now we've done that, or we're close to being done with that. In finishing this, I went ahead and went around this with my gold pen. Actually, I used a paintbrush and some gold stuff, but your pen will work just fine, and it covers up all this stuff. And so as we're working on things of this nature where it looks like things are in layers, we always have to start. The first thing we put down is what's on top. And so we've done that. We've taken these lines that spin off that central circle, and we've put our, although not too much goes behind the border, but it could, and we put our border on as much as anything to define this space. But you wouldn't have to. And so the next thing I think we should do is go ahead and do our big muka. And then we're going to come back around and do this muka. In some ways, this is like Elegant. I think, Jenny, you mentioned you liked Elegant, or somebody did. On the Elegant, and you could go ahead and do this if you like. Elegant, though, had a muka here and then came in here and had another little muka. And you could do that too. But I decided not to do that so there'd be more room for the poke leaves. So I always feel like I need to take a, did somebody raise a hand here? I see I don't know. Never mind. I'm going to do this quickly with my pencil. Just go ahead and go around and maybe even kind of practice that motion. When I'm watching Maria tangle, she often does that. She does the thing without touching the paper, just to see that she's got that movement in her arm, that she's got it straightened out. So she kind of goes like this sometimes and then brings it back down. So she knows she kind of spins then on her elbow. That bone on your elbow becomes the fulcrum. And you can just la-di-da. My pen didn't cover, and then very carefully come back down like that. So there's my muka. I think the beauty of muka is being able to make it look like it was drawn effortlessly. It's just this beautiful arc. And that is way more easily said than done. And I think about that every day, that very simple movement, looking like it took no effort to create that. So then turning your tile in that same position as before to where your pen can go around and do that. Now this one I leaned more over. I don't know why, but it just did. But that's okay. We'll fill in with other things. We're looking at that perfect imperfection. Wabi sabi. There we go. Relax your shoulders and your hands and your arms, and it becomes much easier. Now we're going to do the second muka without the bulb. And we're just going to make a little wide part of it and then kind of come up under that big bulb. So we're going to come up. And then a thin aura all the way around, like that. Okay. So we've got that much done. Now, I think the next thing I want to do, looking at the clock, is go ahead and put in a few of these poke leaves just in one little section, and then later you can go complete it. So we can just see how we do this. It's all about drawing behind. Remember in our first lesson, we did aura-ing with the crescent moon, and we did drawing behind with Halaba. Two of the very basic things with Zentangle. So here, you remember that, you may remember that poke leaf we draw like that, and we can put a little line like that, and if we want to, we can kind of bend that leaf over there. So that's poke leaf, which is easy enough, except that now we're going to do this behind these things, and it's a little more complicated. Actually, and what I'm gonna do right now is shift to my brown pen. So there we are, brown. One of the things going to make this harder even, is that we haven't filled in these things at all right now. So sometimes we have trouble differentiating what's on top and what's behind. So let's just take our stem there and draw our poke leaf behind. And it's a bit tedious, but after a while, I find that I can kind of get into it, and it's interesting. You have to imagine what's behind, and then you have to concentrate on making it behind. So here's another one. And I think there's something kind of magic about doing this. Suddenly, this two-dimensional thing has become three-dimensional. Don't be afraid to make these big. I think it's a lot easier later on when they're bigger. And if you feel like you need to go ahead and do these in pencil, like, just draw them and not worry about where the lines are, just so you can see it, get the lines right, and then come back. Now, I'm going to put this on the internet, so if I'm hauled away by the Zentangle police, you will know why. But this is Zentangle inspired art, and as you know, I surmise that Zentangle inspired art is leaves a lot of leeway for things like erasers. So we let it dry a little bit, and then we can go ahead and take out the pencil, et voila. So you can go ahead and do that. But I want to take time to show you this little fragment that we're going to do here, because I think it's kind of fun. So let's go back. No, let's not. Let's don't say we did. Let's keep our brown pen. And we're going to look at this Muka. Well, let me get. Okay, we'll use this one. And what I did was I put a little orb like there. And then off of that orb, I'm going to curve those lines. And then after I've curved all the lines, I'm going to come back and work on the line width next to the edge. So let's put this little orb in there like that. And then again, we're going to kind of come off of this. It mimics this coming off of that orb right there. It's this taking off. So this becomes the orb, and we're just going to take off. We're going to land over here. Then we're going to take off and land there and curve it. And take off and land. And take off and land. Take off, land. Take off and land. Take off, land. Take off and land. And you see how we have repeated this shape and this takeoff and landing bit in numerous places throughout this composition. Even right here, if we look at this, I was looking at noticing earlier that even this can be taking off and landing a little bit. And that those sorts of tricks, those sorts of repetitions are what hold a piece of art together. So that we're doing similar types of strokes, similar types of lines throughout the whole composition. And there's a unity. I'm not pretending this is great art, but that is what great art often does, is you see the repetition of line and color and so forth throughout. Okay, so we've done this. And then we want to deal with line weight. We want to come in here and do that. Kind of make it wider there at the edge. Okay. So we've got that. And let's try another one. I'm spreading these out more than I did on my original tile. Don't be afraid to sculpt the lines a bit. You may remember I've talked about giving it some love. Well, this is where you can do that. Give it some love. Oh, I was off the screen. So you can make them further apart. You can put them together, and you can see some of mine I've put very close together over here. Each will look slightly different, and they are by no means. I just made this up. Okay, so you can make it up your way. Let's just put it that way. One final thing here is these zingers. And there are a bunch of different ways to do the zingers. But I'm going to kind of go with, let's see, I'm still using my brown pen. And I'm just going to kind of go with this same kind of line that I had with Muka. Only it's like that. And we can cross these boundaries. There's no reason why we can't draw behind that line. And we can just come out here and do that. And then I put in these little shapes in the middle there. And then we kind of make them look Dr. Seuss-ish. I'm putting these little caps on. And so I think I'm going to let this one kind of go that way. So I'll start there and then move it. And then kind of do that. And there it is. And this one, I may turn back that way. So and you can space these around the page, around the tile. Let's see, imagine one coming. Again, we're drawing behind. Frankly, girls, this is kind of advanced. Who's laughing? Jenny? What? Jenny? What?
You said kind of advanced.
Oh, you think it's real advanced? Well, I think y'all can do it. See, that's part of my problem. I'm not real sure what's advanced and what isn't.
I love it. Jenny's going to be just fine.
I didn't say we couldn't do it. I'm just laughing because you said kind of advanced.
Well, I think it is a little advanced. It's like, okay, I'm not going to do this tile in my introductory class. That's what I'm saying.
This is not beginner for me.
Well,
it's
okay.
It's detail. I've lost track of where things are because it's so much detail.
Okay, Francis, I'm sorry, hon. Maybe I'm pushing you a little bit, but you will have the video, you know, you can go back and
Yeah.
it's okay. You can go back and look at the video.
It's all good.
I don't know why. I just saw this thing and I said, I've got to show this to the girls. So here it is. And it's 8:30. And if you just need to put this aside for a while and just practice the individual parts. I seem to recall somebody, and I doubt that it was anybody that's here tonight, but they talked about wanting it to sort of look like Zentangle. In other words, all these patterns all mixed together. At least that's the way I interpreted the expression. And so there it is, all these patterns. And a lot of people wouldn't even necessarily consider what we did here as patterns, but they are. It's repetitive strokes, repetitive colors, repetitive little pieces. We repeat, repeat, repeat. And then it all becomes unified.
Can you put that up on the page and also the trees from last week?
Oh, yeah. You know, I have been distracted. I need to do that. In fact, all of you, please, if I have been negligent in putting things up, tell me, Gay, get on the stick. It will probably be tomorrow morning because I'm feeling a need for supper tonight. But yeah.
Okay, I really love this. I can't believe I did this with stuff. I didn't even have to learn anything new.
Yeah, you've done all this. I guess
Yeah.
that's one reason I went ahead and did it, because I didn't teach you any new tangles, really. This is all old stuff. The only thing, well, the spoken, but that was just like Huggins. So this little business up here, that was sort of newish, perhaps. Now, what?
We've done that before on something similar.
Yeah, we have, actually. You're probably right. What
Yeah,
I
I think
did,
it's cool. I agree with John. Loved it.
and you,
It's similar to the wrapping of the package, the one where we wrap the shell or whatever
oh yeah,
Oh, yeah.
with the
aquaflora.
rib
Yeah,
aquaflora. Yeah.
yeah, it's sort
It's
of
similar
like
to that.
that. And I guess I like it because it's nothing new, and yet it is something new. We've just handled things in a new way. We've combined them where they weren't little tight little boxes, but rather organic, spreading out across the tile. So I hope you have some time this week to play with this. I gotta tell you, I had never done anything like this before I did that conference. But what I showed you tonight was exactly this. There's the circle. They didn't give me this border. I did that, but I just used print Tomp and another one. I don't know that I showed y'all, I think last week. But you know, look at all these things that I've used in this. And yet this is a big tile that a lot of you say, oh, I couldn't do that. Well, yes, you could, and we'll slowly work toward that. This was our first step out on that. Our first step to do that. So, happy Advent. Dawn, it's you with all those Advent things, right?
It's, well, I mean, yeah, I mean, we've got our Christmas tree decorated in Advent colors, and I'm doing the Advent word, kind of Visio Divina, where you post a picture that matches the word of the day.
Well, where do you find this word of the day thing? I didn't even know anything about that.
I think it came from Forward Movement.
Oh,
Every Advent, they put out a list of words for every day of Advent. I'll find it for you. So it's, you're
yeah.
supposed to just,
Yeah, okay. Yeah, I know Forward Movement, Scott Gunn, etc.
Yeah. I'm not sure where it came from, but I've never done it before. I just started doing it this
Oh,
year because I
cool.
saw someone else doing it and I thought I could do it better. So you
Oh,
can
you
take
did it
that for
great. I loved it.
recording.
It was totally wonderful.
Take that
Okay,
out of the recording.
perfect. All right. And I used a lot of white dots. I'll put these up and if you want to copy them, fine. If you say, oh God, no, put this aside, maybe next year. That's fine too. Anyway, love you guys. Take care.
Okay.
Oh, yeah,
Thanks
good
so
night.
much.
We'll see
Night,
you
dear.
next week. Bye-bye.
Bye.